I've had this Proboat Aerotrooper sitting in my office for ages now. I was going to get around to selling it, but never did. I used it a couple of times just as a rescue boat, and it works, but you know, they're not very easy to steer at low speed. And I was thinking of just playing around with it, maybe putting a better EDF on the back of it, like one of these. It comes with a, I don't know, a tiny little motor on there, massive fan blades, and it's so loud it's not funny. I ran it once on 4S and you needed to have earmuffs for it. It was just that loud. It wasn't funny, so I'd only ever used it on 3S after that. I've had these motors sitting around for a while, so I might try and adapt this onto there. It's got a much more powerful motor, much smaller blades. It's only a 6 blade rather than the 10 blade that is the one that makes more of the jet kind of sound, but this may not even work out that well, so I'll just sacrifice this thing and see what happens, if I can make it fit. Okay, excuse the mess. I haven't cleaned up after the last 10 boats I've built, so why start now? The first thing I've noticed on this is this motor is pushing. The motor's on that side and the blade's over here, so it's pushing, and this TP EDF is a pulling type. The motor's on this side, blade's on this side, so I don't know what the difference is in this aero type thing, but I can't see why it would make too much difference. I've just got to get it in the middle where this one was, so that we still have the steering here. I'll just start pulling all this off and see what happens. So pulling these 4 bolts out here, or screws, just loosen the motor, and the cage is just pressed in here by the looks. Oh yeah. Obviously once I pull one screw out, that means it's never going to go back together again, so to be prepared for that. It'll never go back together the same, I should say. Alright, so that's pretty simple to get back to get into, so get rid of that. So we're not going to have this outside thing. Right. I don't know how the steering is going to go without the fan sticking from there to there, so I don't know. That's why we try these things, figure it out. So that's what she looks like underneath here. Dynamite speed controller, meant to be water cooled, but obviously not. The boat wouldn't go fast enough to create the flow, I imagine. So I reckon I'll be changing that out. I'm sure that's not going to run. I don't know, what's this, 36mm, 40mm motor? Yeah, it's probably going to draw way more amps than that little baby thing there. So I'll rip all this out and see where we're at. Alright, so with the cage sat back on there, God, I could just about cable tie the damn thing on. Could be the easiest conversion ever. Might not even have to drill a hole, but alright, so not even 10 minutes into it and that's where we're already at. So yeah, it just needs a speed controller in there. As far as the ESC goes, it sits in under here. I do have this little Proboat. I can't remember what model it's out of. I think it was out of the latest Sonic Wake. I like it because it's nice and small. It'll actually fit in there. I think they're 120 amp, which is probably going to be alright for this. It's only 1300 kV, so she's not going to draw too many amps. So I might just run that, maybe without even any water cooling. If it gets hot, I'll just have to put a pump on it, and a little pickup down the back there. So I might just do that. It'll be a super cheap, well, not really cheap because these are about $400, but everything else is a super cheap little modification. Intending to put it back together the other way it came, but you know I never will. Just soldering up some adapters. The EDF motor has 4mm terminals on it, and the Proboat speed controller has 5.5. So I'm just doing, rather than cutting terminals off and that, just quickly making up some little adapters. Okay, so there's my adapters, still hot. Okay, so that's pretty much the electrics already sorted out. Speed controller fitted in there tightly, so it doesn't even need to worry about anything else there. This is going to plug into, going to go that way. It's going to plug into, I know, you can turn them around there, and that'll be there. Now just got to figure out how I'm going to mount it. I'm still not sure how good I want to do it. I just had to quickly knock up another adapter here. All my batteries have 5.5mm terminals, no matter the voltage, and I just need the wires to reach up into here, because this is all going to be covered when I put the little seat back on. Okay, that sucks. The adapters I made to adapt the 4mm terminals to 5.5 aren't long enough, so I need to get this back a bit more. So I'm going to have to put a piece of wire in between this and this. No big deal. So I just made new ones instead of mucking around desoldering the other ones. That one there. There we go. So now I can set that back as far as I need to, just so it's not hitting on here, I guess. On to the next step. Alright, so I got it mounted in there. It actually looks pretty good with the cage on. So I'm just going to run it now on 6S, just on the bench. At least it's not like a prop boat where I have to take it to the lake, organise my rescue boat, charge the battery for that up, do 3 trips out to the car, and then drive to the lake to find out after a minute of run time that it's good or no good. So I can just run it on the bench here at full throttle for a minute or two and see if I'm going to need water cooling on the speed controller. I don't have a lot of charge in my battery here, so I'm just got a little monitor on there to make sure we don't kill it. Okay, so that's running 6S flat out for, I don't know, a minute or whatever. It's the speed controller is barely even up to body temperature, you know, 40 degrees. So I'm not even going to worry with water cooling on that. I've got a smaller 6S pack. This is a 5200. I've got a smaller 2600 one that will fit in there nicely. The kV on this motor is like 1300 kV. The original one is 2080 kV. So excellent for 3 or 4S. But I can tell you on 4S, if I was to run this on 4S like I just did then, I would have no eardrums left. Even in the lake, it was just so loud. On the one time I run it on 4S, it was just ridiculous. So these things are much quieter. So I don't know if it's going to be any faster on 6S, but it kind of looks cool. So I'll take it out and see what it does.